This is John Paulus, and you're listening to Feast of Fools. Quarter turns for everyone.
On a day like today, when I do everything I always say I won't. Just when things were right and fine, I lose sight of the line between do and don't. If I'm gonna make a mistake, it's gonna be big. Why sip it if I can drink it down? Why hold it if I can pass it around and around and around and around?
You're listening to the podcast that asks and tells everything. The Feast of Fools. On today's show, we'll be talking to the Green Beret of sexual scandals. No, not Monica Lewinsky. We're talking to John Paulus.
He is the former soldier turned real estate agent who gained notoriety for disclosing details of his alleged sexual liaison with American Idol contestant Clay Aiken.
Listen to this fascinating conversation about the nature of being famous and being gay, why Clay Aiken chooses to stay in the closet, safe sex, passion, and why Lance Bass has nothing to lose.
He is the man that gave us quarter turns.
That's right. Thank you, John Paulus, because without quarter turns, we would have no quarter turns for anyone. I am Fausto Fernos.
And I'm Mark Billion.
Stay tuned.
Find my way at night. So I use my hands. I grope at the wall. If I can't trust myself, then I can't trust anyone at all. On a day like today, when I do everything I always say.
Hello?
Hi, John Paulus.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, John. It's Mark and Fausto from the Feast of Fools.
How are you doing? Are you comfortable?
Yes, I'm comfortable. I could be in a jacuzzi. I'd be more comfortable.
Oh, we can put you in a jacuzzi. Here we go, a virtual jacuzzi.
Right. So don't drop.
How's that sound like for you?
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Isn't that nice? Just,
Yeah,
you can get naked if you want.
So, John Paulus is your name, and you did your parents name you after the Pope?
No, they named me after my father. and then after his father.
Okay.
So that has nothing to do with being Catholic.
So you're not related to the Pope at all?
No, I'm not related to Pope.
People want to know why you decided to come forward with the whole information behind Clay Aiken and your affair with him. Why did you come forward in the beginning?
I was kind of upset with him. I was kind of angry with the guy. After he and I had, more or less hooked up, he just treated me like crap. While we were at the hotel room, he's like, get me something to wipe this up, using the F word. And
You can use the F word on the air.
Yeah, you
if
can
you want
cuss all
to.
you want to, unless you don't want to. But
That's fine.
Well, but I don't typically use that type of language, unless I'm really, never mind. But anyways, he's like,
unless it's in a porn.
Right, exactly. So I bring a washcloth. I'm running the water for a while, and he's upset that it's taking so long. But I didn't want to have him wash up with cold water. I was waiting for the water to warm. So I hurry up and bring him this washcloth, and he says, "Is that the biggest fucking thing they have?" And so I was like, "Who the hell is this?"
Well, he was acting like he was at a hotel or something, or well, you guys were at a hotel, right?
Yeah, we were. He was acting as if I was his maid.
Mm.
So I went back. I got him a towel. I bring the towel back to him, and he said, "Don't worry, just bring it to me dry." So I brought it to him dry. And
why wasn't he offering to get one for you? You were the one who was
I didn't
on the path.
And so he was just like laying there in bed, like saying, do this, do this, do this?
He was laying there on his back. He had his T-shirt on.
He had it on during sex?
See, we got qualified. He had his T-shirt. He has T-shirt on. He actually had a T-shirt and a shirt on, and he had like this hoodie on as well. And so he had taken off that hoodie, but he left his shirt and his T-shirt on. And then while we were going, having sex, I said, "Can you take off your shirt?" Because it was like over my face. I couldn't, see anything.
Like, I can't breathe.
Right. So he took off his shirt, but he left his T-shirt on. And I figured out why he left his T-shirt on. I figured because he's not as thin as you think. He's got a little pooch.
Oh.
And of course, I don't know if you've seen his webcam pictures, but he's got man boobs. Yeah, he does.
But why not just like keep this information to yourself and just like say, he was a person in pain, obviously, and inexperienced and inexperienced in dealing with the sudden fame that he has and the responsibility he has to all the people who are investing millions of dollars into his career. I mean, and I can imagine that he would be a little bit, or we would all be a little bit leery and uncomfortable if this happened to us before we even came out of the closet at a tender young age.
I have to tell you something. He's out to friends. He's already out to family.
Mm-hmm.
He's out with everybody at RCA.
Mm-hmm.
He's out
the record company. You
right.
mean. Mm-hmm.
He's out to everybody but his fans. He's not out to the 55-year-old women, and there of course there's exceptions to the case. There might be a couple 18-year-olds in there, but he's out to everybody else except to those people he's trying to gain a buck from.
And it's almost as though he drops, little, like he doesn't really care. Like he drops these little clues, like the manhunt. Or like when he was at Christmas time, he was on Good Morning America, I think it was, and the songs he chose to sing the first one was "Mary, Did You Know?" I mean, come on, what kind of gay song is that?
Right.
And then the other song was like "All I Want for My Grown-Up Christmas," and we're like, what?
He gives clues to those ladies, the Claymates, all the time, and they just don't get it.
I'm trying to understand though. Is what exactly did he do that upset you besides being nasty to you in the bedroom?
I thought we were going to sit down and talk. He said he was looking for somebody he wanted to be in a relationship. Was looking for a discreet boyfriend. I thought we were going to sit and talk for a while, get to know each other. As soon as he got what he wanted, he treated me like crap. Said, "Don't follow me out." Walked out the door. And I'm sitting there in this hotel room that I paid for, and
why did he pay?
He didn't pay for it.
I paid for it.
Well, why didn't he pay for it?
Well, I tell you,
he's the one with the money,
right? Well, he's the one that says, "How about you get a hotel room and I'll pay you back?" And I said, "I don't want your money. I'll pay for the hotel room. I can afford a hotel room, right?"
Well, wasn't he? Oh, because he didn't want it on his name.
Yeah, he didn't want.
That's an excuse I always use. I was like, I'm too famous to pay for that. I don't want people to know that I'm paying for stuff.
Well, yeah.
Well, he could have just paid in cash too.
Yeah, well, he wouldn't have gone to the front desk because the lady was a Claymate.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, I found out after.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did you find out? Did she write to you or something? She's like, "You were at my hotel and I don't believe he was with you."
Oh no, because the Inquirer was asking around, and she says, "If I knew he was up in that hotel room, I would have gotten an autograph."
That's
hysterical.
So, you had the affair with him, and then...
well, let me tell you, I came home after,
You decided... At that time, did you decide to say... I mean, you were in a hotel, so you had hotel towels. Did you steal the towel from the hotel, or...?
Well, I don't know if you want to say steal. Before he was leaving, he told me to take care of that. He was pointing to the wet washcloth and the towel.
Mm-hmm. And so what did you do?
Well, you know how they give you those little pass key things, those stupid little cards?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Well, when I had met him downstairs to let him in, behind the back entrance, I guess he likes back entrances.
Wow, how clandestine.
Yeah. I came in, I let him in the room, and I put the card in my back pocket, And then when he left, I got, told me to take care of that. He left. I walked out. I got down the hall, and I think I was like in the stairwell or something, and I remember, he told me to take care of that. What am I going to do? I walked back, and it was sitting there, and I found this like laundry bag that was in there, and I was going to throw it in the garbage. And I said, well, if I throw it in the garbage there, somebody will see it. I'll throw it out in the back, in the back door, the garbage out there. But there was no garbage in the back door. Mm-hmm. So I threw it in my trunk, and it sat in my trunk for like 4 or 5 days. I completely forgot about it.
So this is a wet cum rag that sat in your trunk. It probably got moldy, didn't it?
It did. Yes, it is. It is. That's because that's where it's at.
So you just kind of like thought it as an afterthought.
Yeah, it wasn't like, take this. I didn't even, as a matter of fact, when I talked to the National Enquirer, they asked, well, what proof do you have? I said, well, I have his instant messages. He had called me. I have emails, and I didn't even think to say, I had the washcloth and thing. And it wasn't until after they got here that I said, it was maybe a day and a half
So the people from the National Enquirer contacted you. They came over to North Carolina,
yeah,
and they met with you. They did a lie detector test on you.
Yep.
And it was then when you realized that you had DNA evidence of your experience,
Yep.
of your encounter with
Yeah,
Clay
and if you don't
Aiken.
keep it, you're going to need it.
That's interesting.
They never even seen it.
Really? Did they offer to do like DNA testing or anything like that?
National Enquirer?
Yeah.
No.
Do you think that's the reason why Clay Aiken and his record label have not sued you? Is because of the fact that you do have DNA evidence, and that would come into question in a lawsuit?
Yeah, no telling what they'd discover that was in that DNA.
I'm saying, I mean, that's really the reason that they've held back, because usually like Liberace and when he tried to squash down rumors that he was gay,
He would sue.
he would sue and win. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Clay Aiken would be able to win a lawsuit like that.
Oh, I don't think he'd win. I
No.
know he won't win.
Well, because it's a basis on opinion, but when you have DNA evidence, it's a whole
and
nother thing.
I also got his fingerprints.
Oh, on what?
Well, you know how you go to those little gay pride things, and they pass out those little tiny bottles of lube?
Yes.
And they pass them all out.
Yes.
You know, here we're going to. I'm going to meet him at this hotel, and I had worked.
And he brought free lube with him?
Well, let me say this. I worked about 10 minutes from where that hotel was, right? I actually lived 30 minutes from where I worked, but the hotel was about 10 minutes from where I worked. And I'm thinking, well, maybe we'll be spending overnight there. Who knows how long we're going to talk? So I brought an overnight bag, and I threw all my stuff in there. And in the overnight bag, there's like a small little bottle of lube, right? So he's trying to stick his fingers in my, butt with spit. Like, I don't think so. And it was hurt. And I said, let me look in my bag. Maybe I had some lotion or something. And there was a little tiny bottle of lube. Oh, he took that thing like... And so, his finger...
So you now, for those of you people, we always get this question asked on our show: is what does quarter turns mean? And that phrase came about that we reenacted the transcript that you gave to the National Enquirer. Was it?
It was online. Yeah.
It was available online of your encounter with Clay, where he demanded that you sit on his penis.
Yeah, well,
and do quarter turns. When you heard him say quarter turns? I want to feel every one of your walls. What was your reaction to that?
Well, at first he said quarter turn. I'm like, what? He said quarter turn. Quarter this way, quarter. And he's turning me like this. I mean, I felt like a lazy Susan. Sitting on.
Because at this point in time, you're sitting on his dick, right?
Yeah.
And he's trying.
And you can actually physically move your body around, so you're like a lazy Susan on his penis.
Can you believe that?
You must be in good shape.
Yeah. Well, that was the other thing too. I had just come back from the gym, and
you were relaxed and stretched out.
Well, no, because I had run for an hour, and I did the Stairmaster for 30 minutes.
Wow.
So my legs were smoked, and I had told her I actually want to stop like 3 times. And I said, Clay, I want to stop.
You were like enough quarter turns.
It was enough with everything.
Well, how long did you have to do the quarter turns for? Was it like constant?
60 minutes.
How long?
60 minutes.
You were revolving on this man's penis for 60 minutes?
Let me tell you, we had.
I don't buy it. I'm just telling you right now. It's like I find it very hard to. I mean,
some
maybe
people are power bottoms, though, Fausto.
Are you? I mean, that's pretty. That's really
Have you seen
amazing.
my legs?
No, I haven't.
I got huge legs.
Well, okay. Regardless of the strength of your legs, is like to be able to have to be on your side. I mean, not even a chick could do that.
He's not on his side. He was sitting.
You're spinning, though. You know.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm trying to tell you, I had to stop.
And he was he was knew enough about this that he knew he had words for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what to ask for ahead of time.
He knew more than I knew, to be quite honest with you. I've never quarter turns with that.
Now, did you guys use protection?
No.
And why did you yourself not want to protect yourself from Clay Aiken's sperm? Because it could make you fat like Ruben Studdard, you know. or God forbid, it could give you HIV.
Well, that actually was a concern too.
Well, why did you choose not to have a protection?
Okay, I had stopped at the store, and I got like sodas and waters and so forth, and some like little snacks, and I thought we were going to sit down like for, 3, 4, 5 hours, talk, and I didn't really plan on having sex. Even in my instant messages with him, I told him, well, this is just to meet, I'm not looking just to hook up. He said, I'm not looking to hook up either. Then I had talked to him on the phone, and I told him, I said, Clay, I'm really nervous. I said, we're just going to talk, see if there's a comfort level there. Well,
Was he very persuasive?
yeah. I mean, he is a demanding little. And then he starts his little thing, please, because I said, no, Clay, I'm really not. Please. And he looked like a mess. I got to be quite honest with you.
He was
Why?
messy looking?
Yeah, he looked like he was just shot out the wrinkle cannon,
Oh, he looked like he had been through the ringer.
Yeah, he sure had. His eyes were wide open. He looked like he hadn't slept in 2 days. He was just.
And it was crazy horny.
Yeah, he was extremely crazy horny.
So you guys got it on, and when it was ever discussed, like, let's, can you use a condom? And he's like,
this is exactly how it happened. He's like trying to get my pants off, and he can't get through to my belt. He's like pinching my skin, trying to get through. And so I get up and I undo my belt and unbutton my pants, and then he pulls me up, he puts me on the bed, and he's like dry humping me, back and forth for a little bit, and then he takes on his unbuttons his pants and so forth, and he has boxer shorts on, and he's like, suck my, dick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am, and of course it was already hard, and.
Well, you're a very attractive guy, and you have a great build, so I can imagine why he would be attracted to you.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
yeah, I'd fuck you.
You can do quarter turns anytime, baby.
Yeah, quarter turns for everyone. No, but but why did you guys not decide?
Well, I told him
use the condom.
Well, he said, I want to fuck you. I said, well, we talked about condoms. He said, I don't know if he asked me if I had condoms, or I said, I got to get condoms. And he said, you don't have condoms? I said, no. And I told him I'd be right back. Now, once I left that hotel room, I wasn't coming back. And I think he knew that.
So he was like, screw condoms because I didn't want to
And he says,
lose a chance of having sex with you.
no, he says to me, he says, no, don't leave. And I'm going back, he says, oh, just sit on it, I said, no, Clay. I said, let me go to the store, and I'll be back. He said, no. And then he tells me, come over on top of him, like in a 69 position almost.
Yeah.
And he's like pushing my butt closer towards his, Waldo, as the Claymates call it.
They call it Waldo. His penis has a
Waldo.
name.
They have all sorts of stories.
Oh, because he kind of looks like Where's Waldo?
Yeah. And
Okay.
He pushes me up, and he just pokes his thing right in. I poke my ass out. I said, Clay, no. He says, please. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, he's a celebrity. I'm justifying all these things in my mind.
John, I want to say good for you for giving in to celebrities, because celebrities are always right and they need to be satisfied.
No.
Yes.
Are you?
When
We're
I demand
micro-celebrities.
sexual
I was just going to say you're brainwashing me.
Well, I mean, so were you concerned that you were? I
was concerned because after when
but you were sort of turned on at the heat of the moment, and so it was
I
like
wasn't turned on.
No.
No, I never.
Then why the hell did you not use a condom?
I never got it up.
I mean, you made a conscious decision not to use it. What was that decision based on?
Like I said, I was justifying in my head. Oh, he must be negative. He's, Clay Aiken.
Because nobody would ever have sex with him.
He tells me, he tells me he doesn't ever hook up. That he was in a relationship with somebody, and that he hadn't had sex in July. So I'm going through all these things, believing him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, after I left that hotel room, a couple hours later, I'm on my computer, and I see Clay. He's logged on to Yahoo Instant Message because it pops up. Clay had logged in. I'm like, And then he has view my webcam. So I click on it, and
it's
he
him.
denies me. And then I said, what the?
Oh, because he's looking for more action.
Yeah, so I'm like, what the heck? So I log into Manhunt, and sure enough, there he is on Manhunt, searching for a next piece, and that's when I got pissed. And so then I started thinking, and so the next day I tried emailing. I said, Clay, I need to talk to you. I have a question for you, and I want to ask, are you sure you're clean?
Mm-hmm.
And nothing. And then the third day, he's back online again, cruising all over the place, and he's ignoring me. I said, okay, I'll teach this little
So you were mad because you felt like he should have given you more than just a one-night stand?
Well, no.
Or?
All he had to say is, you have to also understand, we were going like 2.5 weeks. He says he's moving back. He's looking for friends. All he did was manipulate me to get me so he can get a quick piece of ass and then move on to the next person. He used me.
Okay, and then so you decided to go forward with the story, and you told Billy Masters. Is that who?
No,
or
I sent a message to the National Enquirer.
So it was the National Enquirer was the first
Well,
place
it was
you
actually
came.
American Media, And
So who was the first person you contacted?
American Media.
Okay.
And why did you contact them?
They run the Star.
They run Star, National Enquirer,
Okay.
and
Okay.
the Globe.
So the
Okay.
publishers of the National Enquirer you contacted.
What's that?
The publishers of National
Right,
Enquirer.
exactly. Well, what wound up happening that afternoon when I see him online and he blows me off. If he said something like, "Hey, John, it's just not going to work out," or "Thank you," it was no thank you. It was nothing. He just treated me like crap.
Mm-hmm. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. I said, he thinks that because he's Clay Aiken and the celebrity, he can just go about using people. That's like, some celebrities who go to a restaurant, they order a meal, and they walk out on the bill.
So it was sort of that idea. So you decided to go forward the story.
Right.
They interviewed you. They did a lie detector test,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
they offered me $25,000 and to sign a release. And I said, no, I don't want any money.
I could use $25,000.
Well, I told him I didn't want any money because this wasn't about money. It was more about teaching this bitch a lesson. They can't go about using people. And people told me, well, that was stupid. You should have taken the lesson and teach them a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the money and teach them a lesson.
Yeah, you should have done like Homer. Just take the money, fill it in your pocket, and say, "I don't need your money,"
What I should have done is
because they still ran the story anyways.
I should have taken the money and then donated to the Bubble Aiken Foundation.
The what foundation?
His foundation, the Bubble Aiken Foundation.
Boobala Aiken?
Bubble Aiken or whatever.
Oh.
It's for autistic kids.
Oh.
I probably would have given more than he's given in his life.
Okay, so they ran the story regardless, and
well, what
because
happened-
you changed your mind and you said, "I don't want to go forward with this
Yeah,
anymore."
what happened was after I took the lie detector test and everything, and they wanted me to sign the release, I started getting second thoughts. I don't feel as mad as I did, and I started thinking about the repercussions. Not to me, but like to him and to his family and fans. And so I call up his attorney, and I tell them, what had happened. And
Is the computer on in the background? I just heard a ding.
that wasn't my computer.
Oh, it's mine then. Sorry.
Oh.
So you called up his attorney.
Yeah, I called up his attorney. I said, listen, I contacted the Enquirer. I don't want anything from you guys. I want to try to stop this story. They want me to sign a release. Don't want to sign a release. And so she said, don't talk to anybody. I'll have somebody call you back in 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, an attorney contacted me, an attorney who worked for Britney Spears and for Lance Bass, Jenna Bush, and who's done this type of stuff before.
So Jenna Bush has gotten into sexual escapades
Well,
that
I don't know what-
had needed to be silenced.
DUI or something, I think, right?
I don't know what it was.
Wasn't it?
So this lawyer who
Underage
specializes in dealing with celebrities'
Exactly.
mishaps.
She's an entertainment attorney that Clay's people had call me. And she called me and she asked me, what I wanted. I said, I don't want anything. I want to stop this story. She said, well, we'll submit a cease and desist. I'll send you a paper to sign. It'll be a retainer. Don't worry. It won't cost you anything. And, if you settle anything with Clay, it'll be, 10%. I said, I don't want anything.
Settle?
Yeah.
10% of what?
Called a resolution. A resolution. I said, I don't want his money. I don't want anything. I just, I want him to apologize to me.
10% of what?
If we went ahead and resolved the matter, it's called a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if they gave me $200,000 to deny the story, she would get $20,000.
Oh, okay.
I see.
But I told her, I said, I don't want any money. All I want is an apology.
So do you think a lot of celebrities actually budget in money for these sort of
most
things?
Definitely.
So it's like the record labels are like, okay, disclose us everything so we can know what to budget in case you act out.
Yeah, most definitely. Because I think that celebrities like Clay Aiken, I think he only makes like 50 cents for every CD he sells. Actually, he makes his money.
Honey, we make more money from selling his music on iTunes than
Yeah.
he does.
Yeah, he makes his money on
Sorry.
merchandising and concerts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't make very much money.
Well, he's not hurting though. You know,
No,
because didn't he drive a BMW like to there?
Mercedes,
Mercedes, yeah.
yeah, he has a Mercedes. And I think he has a $3 to $5 million home he just bought here in the Raleigh area.
So, so it's not. So he stands to make a lot of money, understandably, from being in the closet, and maybe he's just cashing in his chips while he can, because he's a poor kid from North Carolina.
He's not a poor kid, please. His mother has
No?
rental property all over. She lives in.
Well, what would he be doing today, though, if he wasn't having this lucrative music career? He'd probably be working as a camp counselor somewhere.
Yeah, he's
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
a teacher for autistic kids.
well, maybe he can always go back to doing that. You know.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Well, what was your family? So all these sexual details came out, and you've been going on how you were on Howard Stern.
Well, first I denied.
You denied it.
I didn't deny them. What I wound up doing is not having any comment on it. And then these damn Claymates, they called my job, got me fired from my job.
Because you're working as a real estate agent?
Yeah, a real estate agent. And,
So the real estate agent company decided to let you go on the basis of the fact that it was negative publicity for the company?
It was negative publicity. It was embarrassing to them. I had to think of the other agents that were in the office. And, here I was working with 3 people. I had 2 contracts. It was $18,000 right there gone instantly. Besides, my other co-listings that I had. It was all, it was like I probably lost close to $50,000 in that 3-month span that I would have made.
So this obvious was a cost. So did you, because of it cost you so much money and it cost you your job, did you at that point say, maybe I shouldn't come forward with this?
Well, I shouldn't come forward with it before then. But what wound up happening is nobody knew the story. All my boss knew was that that I slept with Clay Aiken and I was trying to blackmail him, and I sold a story to the National Enquirer and so forth. Because at this time I was still being quiet. I had no comment. Meanwhile, the Claymates are calling up, telling my boss how he's unethical. He's blackmailing Clay Aiken, and he's taking money from these people.
Explain to the listeners just exactly what is a Claymate, because some people might not understand.
A Claymate is a Clay fan.
Okay.
But there seems to be this sort of silent understanding, or almost of a subconscious pathos happening here, where his fans and Clay Aiken are both cooperating on an unconscious level to silence news of his sexuality.
Oh yeah, of course they do. You know how many people he's been with?
How many?
My God, hold on for a minute. He's probably been...
Is that your dog?
Yes, I know about 20-something people that I can actually confirm.
Well, because it's a small community up there in North Carolina.
Yeah, well, he's been, he had his jukebox tour and then his Christmas tour, and what he would do is a week before he would go, he would, switch his location, and he would pick up people or plan ahead. So I called it Clay's Whore Tour 2005.
Yeah, I think there was pictures of him in Boston or something like that on the internet.
There was a teacher in Boston. He tried to pick up a couple people in Boston, a couple people in New York. He was with a guy. His name is Mark or Matt in Washington D.C.
So, John, do you feel like this, in a sense, is overshadowed other things in your life, or do you feel like it's
definitely?
Do you feel like do you feel regretful that you did this at all?
Yeah,
or?
I do feel regret.
What would you say if Clay Aiken was here right now? And actually, we have him on the other line.
Oh, great!
Just kidding. How you doing?
You mean the other line or online?
Quarter turns.
Quarter turns.
Yeah, we have him online. No, if Clay Aiken really were here, and he might be listening to this. I mean,
he will be.
So what would you say to him right now if he's hearing this right now?
You know what? I would apologize to him.
So, can you say it like talk to as if you were talking to Clay?
Oh, you got to be kidding.
This is a doctor. Well, he went on Dr. Phil, so this is your Dr. Phil moment here.
I'm not going to talk like that.
Okay.
Well, we'll just get.
What would you say to
him?
him? What would you say to him?
Yeah, I would just tell him that I was sorry for hurting him and for hurting his family and for embarrassing him. But at the same time, he needs to be honest, with people.
Do you think?
I really believe that.
Do you think he owes it to the gay community to come out of the closet?
I don't think he owes anything really to anybody. To be quite honest.
So what would you like for him to do?
Yeah. Well, you don't. I don't.
Why are you still? It sounds like you're still angry at him.
Well, listen, because I think he's a hypocrite.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's a hypocrite on.
I think he's a hypocrite. You can't go around and I'll give you a couple examples here. You can't go and say that people in LA have rotting insides, and you can't go around and say that I want to be the example for everybody. I want to be an example for everybody's children, and to have concerts that you'd like for your kids to attend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's dry humping on stage,
So you feel like he's abusing the public trust,
Most definitely.
and you'd like for him to stop. Maybe come out with like a new album of cover songs like "I'm Too Sexy" and "Don't Let Your Sun Go Down on Me."
Yeah, or you spin me round, round, round.
I'm glad that you have a sense of humor about this too.
That would be the best one.
Well, so is it been sort of an unusual adventure? So you're working for another real estate agency at this point, right? And you're still working as a real estate agent.
Well, I'm licensed as a real estate agent.
Are you outside? It seems like there's wind coming.
I go back and forth. I didn't want the dogs to.
Oh, you're trying to get your dogs out so they can poop.
Yeah. They don't bark.
So, I mean, you seem to be sort of recovered from this, and you're moving on ahead in your life. What are some of the things that you're going to be working on? Because they were trying to get you into pornography.
Yeah, I did that. Just one scene.
You did a scene.
Yeah.
What was the scene? Was it?
Explain it to us how you got into the pornography
business.
This was because of the Clay Aiken thing.
Yeah. Well, actually, before then, before this Clay Aiken thing even broke, there was a couple pornography companies that contacted me from seeing my Manhunt profile. I mean, my BigMuscle.com profile.
Because they liked how you look, and it's really hard to find a sexy bottom.
Well, I'm not really a bottom.
You're not?
No.
You're more versatile.
You can do quarter turns.
I'm versatile. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So so they were recruiting you online, and you were interested in getting into pornography.
Well, no, you know how people have fantasies about things?
Yes.
I wanted to get into porn at one time.
Yeah, so that was like a fantasy, but you don't know if you're ever going to go through with it.
Sure.
And you went through with it, though.
Well, what wound up happening, I got in touch with Michael Lucas from somebody who said, "Oh, you need to call this guy. He works with the gay community all the time. He can help you get out of this mess that you're in." Because, I had some gay magazines and some gay advocacy groups saying, "How could you out somebody? This isn't what we do. You're a scumbag, sleazeball." He says, "Oh, they'll help you change your image." So I said, "Oh, okay, no problem." And so I called Michael Lucas. I meet with Michael Lucas. The next thing, he's like, "Oh, well, sign this contract. You don't have to do porn, but, this is just in case you ever decide to do it, you promise you'll do it with me."
So it was a scam. He was telling you the contract was for one thing, but it was for another thing.
Well, what happened, though?
Well, what he said is it had on there that, it had on there for 4 movies, right? But I didn't have to do the 4 movies. It binded him to hire me for 4 movies, but I didn't have to do it if I didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
It just says I couldn't make any movies with anybody else.
But you ended up making pictures, though, didn't you, or photos?
I did. Well, I did one scene because what wound up happening, he said, "We're going to take some publicity shots." So I was like, "Okay." So we went to go take some publicity shots, and the photographer said, "Okay, now take off your shirt. Now take off your pants. Now take off your under." Like, whoa! We're supposed to do publicity shots here. He said, "Oh, Michael didn't tell you?" I said, "No, he didn't tell me." And
And that's why the photos that you sent us in the email is that like basically because you have this really serious like you're like almost like a deer in the headlights look.
Oh yeah, that's probably one. Maybe one with Michael. Well, you have to. I didn't sleep. I got like maybe 4 hours of sleep in 3 days.
Yeah, because I would imagine you'd be under
look a little bit unhappy.
I was not happy at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so these, but you're clothed in these pictures. So, these pictures are actually of you naked. They eventually you become naked, right?
Yeah.
But it's solo work. It's not. Are you with somebody else too, or no?
As far as porno?
Yeah.
No, I don't do anything like that.
Okay, because originally they wanted you to recreate, and that's where we kind of came up with our idea of doing the with Victoria Lamar, where we did the quarter turns episode, because you were gonna, it was slated for you to actually recreate the scene with Clay Aiken.
Yeah, but it's difficult to find a redheaded guy that looks like.
We have a guy here in Chicago that looks just as a spitting image of him,
Oh,
and he's an acter.
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah. Maybe we can set you guys up on a little like.
no, please, I don't want to relive that.
And he talks kind of that high,
High pitch.
Sandy Duncan wheat thins, rascally voice.
Oh, please don't let me go through that again.
What does your family think about all this?
Well, I didn't tell my mother.
Your mom, I mean, she must have found out.
I didn't tell anybody in my family because I didn't want them to,
So do you think Clay Aiken's like going to come out and tell your mom? And
But so what happened? Finish.
My grandmother read it in the National Enquirer.
Oh, really? And she's just like,
Yeah.
John Paulus, is this you?
Yeah, and she called my father, and then the neighbors all seen it, and then other people seen it, and then my mother is very good friends with a lady who's friends with Clay's mother.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
so the mothers got together.
So I guess Clay's mother had called this lady called Clay's mother, and
She's like, do you know what your boy's doing in the hotel room? Quarter turns.
Well, I mean, at the very least, they'd be concerned for his health.
Right.
yeah, well,
So
Well, I'm sure it's
it
probably
sounds
more
like
the
he's
image.
acting out, though. It's like it'd be. You were saying that you were concerned that he might be getting into drugs and other things. As a human being, I mean, you did have feelings for him.
oh, I have feelings for him as a person, of course. I would never want anything bad to happen to him.
Well, I mean, when you went to the hotel, were you kind of thinking like, oh, I might like him, like this could be like a boyfriend, or?
Well, yeah, I said,
Did you like his music when he was on American Idol and stuff? or-
let me tell you, I voted for him while he was on it because I thought he had a good voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he had contacted me, I never really followed his career at all. I saw him on David Letterman once, and I remembered his Christmas special.
Mm-hmm. Oh, with Barry Manilow?
Was he with Barry Manilow?
Yeah, that was the gayest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Do you think he's having sex with Barry Manilow?
Oh, I hope not.
Quarter turns for Manilow.
I don't know.
That's probably why Manilow had to get a hip replacement so he can do the quarter turns.
Yeah. Probably.
Just kidding, Barry.
No, so what was your mother finally saying to you when you guys actually talked about this?
Yeah. Well, she was actually upset with me too because she said, that's something that you should have kept to yourself. And you embarrassed yourself, him, and his family. I'm not going to get into your business. I don't know what happened. I don't think I want to know what happened.
And what'd you say to her when she said that to you?
About
When she said you should have kept it to yourself, and
well, I told her, I said, well, you don't have all the facts, you don't know, and then I said, maybe I should have, I regretted it. Yeah, and I do.
So if you could go back in time, you would do it differently?
Oh, I would never have said anything.
so it's okay. It's like, I think it's okay. People say never regret anything. It's like it's okay to say, it's like
Just don't dwell on it.
don't dwell on it.
Learn from it. Move
you
on.
learn from it and move on. It's like,
Yeah.
and you're now working on a new book called My Life Beyond Clay Aiken.
I am.
I don't know. Just Life Beyond Clay. What happens next day?
Quarter turns of
The
my
day after Clay.
Now, let's talk about some of the Claymate reactions, because he's got such a fan base that's very popular, and they weren't very happy when they found out that their god was a homosexual.
A god was a pink god.
life. Oh, yeah, they hate my guts.
And so what do they
They
do?
thought their Zeus was a.
So they got you fired.
Yeah, they got me fired. I started my blog. They somehow, I don't know how they do it, but they cut my phone line in my house.
What? Really?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's it.
Wait, they fit. Somebody came in with wire clips, or that somebody at the phone company disconnected.
No, they pulled the wire.
So they know where you live.
Oh yeah, they've had my house, the picture of my house on the internet too.
Wow. So you're like under surveillance by them?
Yeah, well, yeah. One lady drove down from Virginia, and I guess she pulled into the wrong driveway. She pulled into my neighbor's driveway.
She drove from Virginia down?
Yes, and she opened up the door, and the guy answered the door, and she started yelling at him. And then the wife says, "What's going on?" He was looking and didn't know what the heck was going on.
You know, it's interesting. This is kind of illustrating the pathos of people hating homosexuality so much that they you know, when I've always felt when I've dated Mark and people didn't like me is because they felt like I was making him gay by being with him. So in a sense, they do believe that you were in a relationship with Clay, but you were enabling him to be gay.
Oh.
And that if you found the right woman, that somehow that, you know, so they're almost blaming you on his homosexuality.
Right.
So you're like a lightning rod for that.
Right. Well, you know what? After some of the pictures they sent me, I don't blame Clay for being.
What kind of pictures did they send?
Well, I have pictures of them. I don't know if I still have them, but of women sitting down with their legs spread, saying, "This is what Clay wants, not you."
And how old are these women?
In their 50s easily.
Wow. So they have like silver beavers?
Oh no, it's disgusting.
Wow.
Ooh, it's a granny
Well,
porn.
you should post those on your website and be like,
I
this.
would never put that on my website.
Why
Well,
not?
send it to us. We'll post it on our website.
You know, there's not a warning of 18 years or.
Oh, okay.
You know, and
I think she's well over 18 years.
Well, for viewers and stuff like
for
that.
viewers to come in and look, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a site meter on your site, they'll pull a site meter if you have any pornography on there.
Oh.
Yeah, so I wouldn't. And
Oh, I didn't realize that.
yeah, there's a little blurb on there in the because I had Clay's naked picture up there briefly.
So what? Here's a question, and maybe, I mean, why are you still granting interviews for this? I guess if you're wanting to move beyond it, I mean, is being on this show even like, in a sense, feels a little bit counterproductive in a sense, or?
No, not really. You know what? I'll tell you. When you step back, the Claymates wind up making up their own stories.
Sure.
And then I had stepped back for like a month, like the whole month of March I stepped away. And then I started getting calls from newspapers saying, "John, is it true that you admitted to lying and making up this story in order to support your drug habit? You were trying to blackmail Clay?" I said, "What?" And these were they actually had these things printed, you know, online, and and I have these news people calling me up asking me if this was true. And so this is why I started a blog, to get the facts straight. And so every time I step away, they make up new lies and new stories.
Hence, that's why you called it Clay 411.
Right. Clay Aiken 411. Right.
Now, have you gotten any response from some Claymates that are just that believe you? That are like, you know what, I believe you, and I'm not his fan, or I don't care, or
oh yeah, I've had lots of them that said, you know what, I you know, thank you, I do believe you, I believe that this happened, you know, I'm still a fan, or other people who say I just can't be a fan of his anymore. Now, it's not that he's gay, it's the way he manipulates and lies. If he would just come out and say, you know, yes, it's true, I'm gay, instead what he's doing is he's using us, manipulating us. I think he would lose a lot of.
Do you think he's not allowed to come out though, like with his record contract and stuff? Do you think that's
another thought, that maybe he can't come out? Maybe he's under contract that he can't come out.
But he specifically told you he was out to his friends and his family, right?
Yeah. He had told his mother March 2005, which is right after he, well, I should say, his boyfriend broke up with him.
So what do you think about all the American Idol contestants that are gay? And what do you think about So You Think You Can Dance? Have you been watching the show?
Oh, I love that show, yeah.
I think
good
it's
show.
better because actually the contestants are openly gay.
Oh, are they?
Well, they're not
they
disguising.
can't hide it.
They can't hide it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like it feels like it's what American Idol wants to be but can't be because of the record labels.
Whatever hotel they're staying at, I would suggest they look in room 207. Clay's probably waiting.
Is that where he hangs out, 207 in every hotel?
Well, that's where we met, room 207.
See, if I was Clay Aiken, I'd go to all the American Idol auditions because there's some good-looking men who audition for those things, and they are desperate. And when you can grab them when they're been rejected. Because remember, like last season of American Idol, there was like this one guy who was like almost like a stripper, and he was really hot. And he was so desperate, he was taking his clothes off.
Oh, yeah.
In the lobby. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, which American Idol was this?
I think it was the season when Clay competed or the season after that. With Fantasia Barrino was the winner.
Oh, I'm sure he was there then. I know there was a guy in Hawaii that was also gay that Clay hung out with. As a matter of fact, he even brought the Bubble Aiken Foundation over there down to Hawaii for some benefit or something. And
What
met
did you?
with this guy.
Now, did you saw the last season of American Idol where Clay Aiken sang on stage a duet with one of his gay fans?
Right, Michael Sindecki.
Do you think that was a sort of an obviously?
Wink.
I think that was definitely a conscious response to all this that happened with you and him in the public eye.
Oh, I think so too.
What did you make of it when you saw that?
And what was the Elton John song he sang?
Don't let your sun go down on me.
Was that what it was, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Girl.
go down on me.
No, but so what would you when you saw that? What'd you think? On television, when you saw this
Well,
this very flaming gay fan who looks like Clay Aiken suddenly literally squeal with delight when he has been surprised and he can sing an off-key duet with Clay Aiken on American. I thought it was one of the gayest things I've ever seen on television ever.
Well, I had found out about it that Sunday evening.
So you didn't see it live, and so you had to go online to see it.
I saw it on live. I saw it live. Nobody knew that he was going to be on the show, and actually the producers were denying. They said no, he's not scheduled. But I was called Sunday evening by a producer who contacts me
for Fox.
From Fox, right? And who actually has had some run-ins with Clay and doesn't like Clay Aiken.
Oh, really?
Oh, so it was like
Do tell.
So it was like a secret.
Tell.
Right. Well, I can't go into too much details because I don't want to get him in trouble. But he had said Clay Aiken is going to be on American Idol on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And I think it was that Wednesday. And he's going to make a guest appearance. So, of course, I put it on my blog, and the claimants say, "You liar, we called. You're just trying to build us up so we'll be disappointed." They called me.
Really?
And then all of a sudden, they had those awards, Michael Sindecki, the look-alike thing. And there he was, singing his "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me."
So,
with his Katie Lang
hairdo.
So we're not the only one who thinks Clay's trying to change his image to sort of walk away from his manhunt pictures.
Well, I think what he's doing is because he has these 30-year-old songs. He's got sporting that new haircut. He's trying to be the new Barry Manilow, the new, I don't know, more mature looking, not the
freckle-faced little kid.
Little
Huckleberry Hound.
Walking away from the howdy doody look.
Right, and trying to go to a more mature look. Yeah, I don't know if it's working though.
So,
In fact, it's not.
so what do you think about Lance Bass coming out recently? And do you think that he's sort of a role model for Clay? Should Clay want to or will come out?
Well, I think
once he's made all his money.
Yeah, I think Clay will watch it very carefully and see what the repercussions are, and then go from there.
Do you think Riken sort of manipulated him into coming out?
I think he pushed him. Yeah, I think he pushed him. I think he helped influence him.
But it doesn't seem like Lance had anything to gain from staying in the closet at this point.
No.
It probably helped him.
Lance also has a TV show coming up soon, or they're making a pilot where he plays a gay character. So it just kind of seems like it'd be something. But you actually met Lance Bass, didn't you?
I have met him.
He said, "Oh no, not you! I'm staying away."
It was like 3 years ago at a men's club bathhouse, and I was in my towel, and he was in his towel, and he was in a room, and I passed by, and I looked, and I was talking. I said, "You look like," and he's like,
He's like, Sulu.
I look like George Takei from Star Trek.
Well, people think, okay, when they think of a bathhouse, it's different in Fort Lauderdale because after the club, people normally went to the bathhouse because it was like a country club. Mm-hmm. They had a pool. I mean, it was clean. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful in there. And some people went and fooled around. Other people just, after the club, you just relaxed over there, and...
By relaxing, you mean fucking and sucking.
Well, no, you went in the pool, the jacuzzi, and I had seen him over there. He had his door cracked open, the light on, and I had seen him over there. Maybe an hour or 2 hours, something like that. And I was just curious, so that's why I wanted to, tell me, who you look like. Mm-hmm. And it was like 20 minutes after we talked, maybe 20 minutes, and soon after that, he checked out.
Really? So you didn't have sex with him?
What's that?
You didn't have sex with him?
No. But he's a top, though. I know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
how do you know?
Riken's taking it up the ass.
How do you know? He told you, or
he told me.
Wow. Now, did you see him naked?
No, I didn't see him naked.
Oh.
No, he told you he was a top.
Yeah,
he said, "I'm a top."
Well,
are you a bottom?
Listen, you have to realize that here I've been out, all Saturday night. It's Sunday, like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, thank God for crystal meth.
Oh, no.
Just kidding.
It's balls. You ever have that?
What?
It's called balls.
Balls.
Balls?
LS.
No, what
Is
is
this
it?
a new drug?
No, it comes in a blue bottle. It's nothing but caffeine and sugar.
Oh, it's an energy drink. Okay.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you have that. You can give it up for 2 days.
Wow.
And 2 days you gave it up for, then.
No, I wish. But anyways, I actually sat down, and you know how they have these like the little beds in the dressing room?
Sure.
I sat down on the edge of the bed right there, and he sat down, and we were just chit-chatting back and forth, and he, so I said, I just can't believe what are you here for? What are you into? And he said, I'm a top. Are you here with somebody? And actually, I was with somebody there, my ex.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like in the other room and with his ass spread open, waiting for you.
Oh, no. We were with a bunch of friends. We were like with 15 friends that we went there afterwards. Yeah.
So do you think you'll ever be invited to like Lance Bass's house for Christmas?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Well, now, do you go out and like in Raleigh? Because Raleigh's not really a big community or anything like that. Is it? Do you go out and people are like, oh, and do they come up to you and say stuff to you, like to your face?
Yeah, some people had recognized me, and still make comments like scandalous or their look or something like that. But now it's actually it's past.
Okay.
People around here don't really like Clay, to be quite honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to, because I know a lot of our listeners want to know. Tell us about Waldo. Size, dimension.
Where's Waldo?
Where was Waldo?
Well, I know where he was for at least 60 minutes.
Okay.
Well,
Big, little, long, thick.
It's 6.5 skinny.
Six and a half skinny.
Freckled?
So skinny by skinny, you mean like a banana dimension or smaller than a banana?
Oh, smaller than a banana.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. So it was like one of those
You want me to
wieners.
email you the picture?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Oh, okay.
Now,
course.
pubes, red pubes?
They're like, I'd say like a brownish reddish.
Brown.
So the
red.
carpet matches the drapes, yes or
Yeah.
no?
Well,
Yes.
not that day.
Not that day?
No, his hair was dyed.
Oh, his hair was dyed brown or something?
Yeah, his hair was dyed like a brownish.
You know, redheads
Is it-
don't look good when they dye their hair brown.
Yeah.
They look like Eric Stoltz. You know? It's like you're trying to hide something.
What should they do?
Just
Dye
be
blonde?
red, embrace your redheadedness, and try to be hot because there's nothing worse than an ugly redheaded person, and nothing hotter than a hot redheaded person. Don't you agree?
That's what I wind up getting.
The freak.
Well, best of luck to-
Brazilian wax or something like that. I got.
No,
Was it shave?
You know what? He had like a hair, but it was like it was not like a thick. It was not like thick patches of it.
Okay.
You know.
All right. And, can I get you to say one thing?
Sure.
Can I say this is John Paulus, and you're listening to the Feast of Fools, and then say quarter turns for everyone, because that's become our catchphrase.
Okay. This is John Paulus. You're listening to Feast of Fools and Quarter Turns for Everyone.
All right.
Okay, can you say that with a little bit more passion now?
And like really emphasize the Q and the
This is John
quarter turn.
Paulus, and you're listening to the Feast of Fools.
That loud.
Quarter turns for everyone. Like that.
Okay. This is John Paulus, and you're listening to Feast of Fools. Quarter Turns for Everyone. Not good?
That's good.
All right.
Okay, we're going to do a breakdown here really quickly. The questions no one dares ask, but we'll ask you anyways. First of all, what's your favorite color, John Paulus?
Purple.
What's your age in relation to Larry King? Older, younger?
I'm 38, and I'm a lot younger.
What's the
I
best?
don't have what is he have?
A hunchback. What?
He has a flatulence problem.
Does he really?
Yeah, you know you didn't hear when he was giving Star Jones.
He was giving Star Jones what?
Yeah, he was interviewing Star Jones. They were going to commercial break, and he let one loose. You didn't hear about it?
No, I didn't.
It's all over the internet.
He's like, sorry.
Well, yeah, they have a fan underneath his desk, and it blows the.
Oh, I love that.
You
Oh
didn't know
my
that?
God.
Oh yeah, you'll have,
Larry King.
you'll have to interview him.
See, at least when you're on our show, you never get farted in.
Yes.
'Cause my farts are pretty deadly. Victoria Lamar's farts are pretty deadly too. Okay, what's the best feature of your body? What do you like most about yourself?
My eyes or my abs?
All right, what turns you on?
Intelligence.
What's your favorite type of sushi?
I don't eat sushi, so I'd have to say tempura.
Okay. What's playing on your iPod right now?
Hint, hint.
Well, let me tell you, it wouldn't be Measure of a Man.
Okay. What's the best?
I think I have a David Knapp I was listening to.
Okay. You're supposed to say Feast of Fools podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll be soon.
Okay. Best thing that happened to you last year?
Best thing that happened to me last year.
Yeah, in 2005.
In 2005. Man, that's a good question.
Did anything good happen that year?
I don't know. It was kind of all good. Let me think here. 2005. I don't know. I was still single, so good.
You had lots of sex then, huh?
No, that's a problem.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
Wait till you get married, you get even less.
I need to be in a relationship, you know?
Maldito sea.
If I'm in a relationship and I'm more comfortable, 2-3 times a day is fine.
Nice.
So the best thing that happened to you in 2005 was that you had a lot of sex?
No.
I didn't have any.
Oh.
Okay.
So what was the good thing
Very
then?
little. I would say I reconnected with my friends in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Okay. What's the worst thing that happened this year so far?
Room 207.
Did that happen in 2000? I'm confused.
I would say, I would say getting fired from my job.
Okay.
Worst thing?
So what's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love Basic Instincts 1.
Okay.
Is that a documentary or a film
Basic Instincts,
for you? What's your favorite snack?
my favorite, potato chips.
Okay. What's did you have a childhood pet, and what kind of pet was it?
Yeah, I had a dog, and its name was Lucky. Got ran over.
Aw.
What kind of instruments do you play? Do you play any musical instruments?
Let's see. I'll say the trumpet because I played the trumpet one time.
Okay. If your vagina wrote its own monologue, what would it say?
Quarter turns.
Good answer. Ding, 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 ding. What kind of drink would you like to fix for us if we came over to your house?
I like Cosmopolitans, to be quite honest.
Oh, me too.
Or vodka and tonics.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with vodka.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the most annoying thing about popular culture and music today to you? Besides Clay Aiken.
I got to tell you, I hate songs that repeat the same thing over and over and over again. It's got like one verse.
Yep.
Keep repeating the same thing over and over again. You get tired after a while.
Yep. So who is your favorite fat celebrity?
My favorite fat celebrity?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go with Ruben Studdard since Clay Aiken.
Oh, that's right. Be happy you didn't have an affair with him.
Really?
Oh my gosh, could you imagine that?
That would have been like he'd be like, quarter turns.
He would have been round the world turns.
Round the world turns.
But that would have been a little easier because I could have reclined back.
That's true.
Instead of doing a 69 with him, you'd be doing 708s. That's the area code for
What's
those.
the area code?
Was
That
it
he
seven?
had on
Yes,
his
yes.
chest.
That's how he won.
Yeah, actually, it's funny that I actually remember that. I have photographic memory. What's your biggest waste of money? What do you waste your money on? Lawyers?
Gas.
What?
Gas.
Gas?
Gas. What gets you high?
What gets me high? I don't get high. Let's say poppers.
Okay.
If you could be a tree, what kind of tree would you be?
An oak.
Do you believe in God or life after death?
I believe in God.
Okay.
Thank you so much for talking to us, John Paulus, and
You're
best of luck to you. May you, have quarter turns forever.
And ever. But in a good way.
In a good way.
I'll have to come up to Chicago. What is Boys Town up there?
Absolutely.
Yeah, Lakeview. You can come
And we
visit
have
us
two gay
anytime.
neighborhoods. We also have the neighborhood in which we live in, and that's Andersonville.
Andersonville. Yeah, there's some all men's club up there. Everybody used to talk about. Trying to remember.
The Unicorn.
Steamworks.
Steamworks. That's
It used to be called the Unicorn, now it's called Steamworks.
Oh, what?
I used to do shows there.
Oh yeah. What kind of shows?
Cabaret shows.
And then he'd have sex with people.
I did actually the times that we did shows there. I never had sex with anybody because we were so busy putting on the show that you couldn't. It was
You'd jerk off in a corner afterwards when you were done,
No.
wouldn't you?
no.
Oh, 'cause you had to haul stuff out to the
tired.
car.
I had to haul stuff out to the car. There was like props and costumes, and the people just were like What the hell is this shit?
And costumes, too.
Yeah, we had a whole
It was a grand show.
multimedia production
Oh.
at a bathhouse with a bunch of naked guys watching you perform.
Oh, how fun is that?
It was bizarre. They weren't into it.
Oh, they weren't?
No, it was like performing at a bus station.
Oh, they were into something else, right?
They were into each other, and they were annoyed the hell by us. Oh, it was just awful. But this isn't about me, it's about you. Any last words that you want to say to the Clay Aiken fans who are listening to this?
Nothing to those people.
Leave me alone.
Leave me the fuck alone, you
well,
people.
thank you, John Paulus. It's been a pleasure talking
Yeah,
with
it's
you.
good that you still have your sense of humor.
Well, thank you very much. Okay. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I want to remind people to please vote for us. At
Wait, tell people. John Paulus
Oh, yeah.
lives in North Carolina.
Raleigh, yeah.
Raleigh, North Carolina. He works as a real estate agent. So if you're going to be buying or selling a house, you can contact him through his website, clayaiken411/blogspot.com, I think. We have a link up on our website, feastoffools.net. And if you're buying a house, give a brother a break and get John Paulus to be your real estate agent.
Absolutely.
You know, is that enough bullshit has happened to this poor guy. Although it seems like he was, this is my take on it.
What?
Now.
Here's a woman scorned.
He was pissed off, you know, and it's like, you know,
Don't piss a sissy off.
Don't.
We're all sissies here, so it's okay.
But you know, it's a difficult situation because I can understand both sides of the story, and it's like, you know, we live as gay people. We have been denied money and denied fame and denied our voice.
Yes.
And Clay Aiken is probably just milking this for what it's worth.
Yeah.
You know,
So why not?
And when
It's
he's
like-
done milking it, then he'll come out like Lance Bass did.
Yep.
You
When
know?
he'll be like that Lance Bass show will need a third roommate and Clay
You know
will
what,
move
though?
it.
If I was Clay Aiken, though, instead of coming out, I would just say, you know, it's okay to be gay. I'm not going to talk about whether I'm gay or not, but it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
he owes it to people not to come out, but to encourage a pro-gay message in his
Right.
music.
Absolutely.
It don't matter if you're black or white, if you're a top or a bottom, or if you're hung or tiny.
Because it's quarter turns for
Quarter
everyone.
turns. You know, one day he will make a song that says quarter turns.
Shimmy, shimmy, quarter turns.
Shimmy, shimmy, quarter turns.
That's actually a song.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, there's some song out there. So I want to everybody go right now to it's your last day to vote.
You know, we'd play Clay Aiken's music on our show, but the record companies do not allow us, and they will sue us, and there will be no
And they'll
quarter
win.
turns for anyone.
I know.
So we're going to leave you here with some of the Baby Teeth Celebrity Wedding, which we
Right.
love playing on our show.
Absolutely.
And you can buy that on our website,
Yeah.
feastoffools.net.
You can also buy a T-shirt that says quarter turns on it. So, and people will say, "What's quarter turns?" And you can regale them with the story of how Clay Aiken seduced John Paulus.
For some reason, my iTunes... Oh,
I
there we
wonder
go.
why. So get out the vote. Go to podcastawards.com and vote for us. Last day, and we
Today
also
is the last day to vote for us. If you want us to win for a People's Choice Award,
you must vote.
if you don't want us to win, then don't vote.
Right,
Simple as that. Today is your last day. You have one more chance.
right.
And then the winners will be announced on August 15th. So you'll know if we were successful or not.
That's true.
And if you live in Austin, Texas, come to hear our concession/triumph win-lose speech.
Yes, we don't know what it's going to be, but it'll
So
be
we're going to
ready.
write it ahead of time.
Yes.
So it's a multi-purpose, all-purpose speech.
Absolutely.
You know, because we like to be prepared here on the Feast of Fools. You can meet me, Fausto Fernos,
And me, Mark Fillion,
and my mom, Patricia Fernos,
and Cesar Torres.
and the Reverend DJ at the Spider House Friday, August 18th from 8 to 10 p.m.
Woo-woo!
Don't be late, and it's an all-ages event.
Is it nice?
Yes, and you can drink.
Come, all you teeny boppers.
If you're not over the age of 21, you won't be able to drink, but there's lots of coffee beverages there, so
Coolio.
it's really nice.
Excellent.
And
All right.
what else? If you want to AOL Instant Messenger us,
It's Feast of Fools for you.
The number
4, the letter U.
the letter U, and what's our email address?
feastoffools@gmail.com. And if you like the show or you want to make a comment about it, please comment at feastoffools.net.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Water turns for
Everyone.
Credit that you leverage against your divorcee. Moving to New York and leaving in California way. Just another old ruins of a Hollywood and a Shay. Baby, what happened to the girl I